Hi and welcome to the first episode of White Coat. I'm Tamer Meshel, the host of the new show White Coat. Thanks to the generosity of Alkarma TV and by the grace of God, we could bring White Coat to the mass. White Coat is a simplified educational medical program. We'll be live with you every Saturday for 90 minutes. We'll discuss topics will benefit the whole entire family. In the beginning, I would like to thank Samuel Stefanos, the founder and the CEO of Alkarma TV. And I would like to give a big thank you to Albert Stefanos, the guy who put the foundation for White Coat. I would like to give thanks to my crew, Charlie Pshay, the director, Bassem Korollos, Hani Ramses, Georgia Anwar, Joseph Macarius, Joseph Kalini, Osama Subhi, George Bashara, Malak Masood, Joy Bashara, and George Megdi. And I would like to give a big and special thank you to my wife and my family, my dad and my mom, who supported me through the preparation of White Coat. White Coat is a fast-paced medical program, which I promise it will be different than any other medical TV show. We will run White Coat through campaigns. Every campaign will be a group of episodes. Our first campaign will be about mental health and addiction problems, which I want to give a big thank you to Dr. Simon Karmarkar, our mentor for mental health and addiction problems, and my co-host for the next 20 episodes. The first campaign will be 20 episodes. The structure of each episode will be as follows. The first fixed segment, and since the goal of our program is educational, we'll start with tips for healthy lifestyle on either physical and psychological aspects for men, women, and children. That's why we called it Healthy Hem, Healthy Hair, Healthy Kids. Then we'll have a quick biography for our guest before we begin the interview with him or her. Our guests are top-ranked physicians from top-ranked universities. Then we'll do the interview with our guest about very important topics for the whole entire family. The last segment, which is my favorite segment, will be our interaction with the audience. Topics will be posted 1 week ahead on our social media pages. Our Facebook page, official page, will be shown on the screen right in front of you. Please like us and message us if you have any concerns. If you have any questions about the episode's topic, please send in your question the week before the episode and during the episode. If you send your question after the episode, I promise I'll do my best to get your questions answered. We need your support and your prayer and your interaction, because you, audience, will play the biggest role in our program White Coat. Your interaction will shape and tailor our program, and your involvement will be our compass. Welcome again to White Coat. أعزائنا المشاهدين، مشاهدي الكرمة في كل مكان، برحب بيكم في برنامج وايت كوت. أنا تامر ميشيل، مقدم البرنامج. بفضل ربنا وبنعمة ربنا الأول ومجهودات قناة الكرمة قدرنا نطلع وايت كوت للإعلام. عشان كده في البداية بحب أقدم كل الشكر لسامويل ستيفانوس، مدير قنوات ومؤسس قنوات الكرمة. بحب أشكر ألبير ستيفانوس، الشخص اللي حط الحجر الزاوية في برنامجنا النهاردة. بحب أشكر كل الكرو بتاع البرنامج زي ما سبق وذكرت أسمائهم قبل كده. والحقيقة وايت كوت هيبقى برنامج طبي مبسط لكل أفراد الأسرة. هنناقش كل الموضوعات اللي تهم كل أفراد الأسرة. وايت كوت هنكون معاكم لمدة 90 دقيقة كل يوم سبت في بث مباشر. والحقيقة لما قررنا إن احنا نعمل وايت كوت، قررنا إن احنا نعمله بشكل مختلف شوية. فاحنا هنعمله عن طريق مجموعة من الحملات. كل حملة هتناقش مجموعة من الموضوعات اللي هنطرحها على حضراتكم، وكل الموضوعات اللي هنناقشها دي هتكون بتهم كل أفراد الأسرة. الحقيقة كل حلقة قررنا إن احنا نعملها بشكل مختلف بإيقاع سريع شوية، عشان كده خصصنا 15 دقيقة في أول كل حلقة عشان نناقش خطوات صحية نقدر نعيش بيها في حياتنا ونغير ستايل حياتنا عشان يبقى صحي أكتر. في أول 5 دقايق هنناقش الموضوعات اللي تهم كل الرجالة. تاني 5 دقايق هنناقش الموضوعات اللي تهم كل الستات، ازاي ياخدوا خطوات عملية في حياتهم من أجل حياة صحية، سواء على المستوى البدني أو الجسدي أو على المستوى النفسي. آخر 5 دقايق هيبقوا للأطفال، ازاي نقدر نربي أطفالنا بشكل صح، وهنعملها زي رحلة مع حضراتكم من أول يوم للولادة لحد ما إن شاء الله تكبروهم وتدخلوهم الجامعة وتجوزوهم. الحقيقة احنا اخترنا أول حملة من حملاتنا تكون عن الصحة النفسية والإدمان. يمكن مش كتير من البرامج بتهتم بالموضوع ده، ولكن احنا اخترنا الصحة النفسية والإدمان لأنه مشكلة كبيرة جدا في كتير من الأسر في كل البلاد اللي بتشوفنا عن طريق الكارما النهاردة. الحقيقة دي مشكلة كبيرة جدا، مش بس كمان الإدمان، ولكن هنناقش إزاي يبقى عندنا صحة نفسية أفضل، إزاي نقدر نتعامل في أسرنا مع أولادنا، نطلعهم أو نكبرهم. بعد كده الفقرة الثانية هتبقى بايوجرافي أو زي السيرة الذاتية للضيف بتاعنا، ونشكر ربنا إنه كل الضيوف بتاعنا هم أعلى دكاترة في تخصصاتهم من أكبر الجامعات الموجودة هنا. بعد كده هنعمل انترفيو لمدة 30 دقيقة مع الضيف، هيناقش فيه موضوعات بتهم الأسرة زي ما أنا قلت قبل كده. الفقرة الأخيرة هي فقرتي المفضلة، وهي التفاعل مع حضراتكم. الحقيقة التفاعل مع البرنامج هيتم عن طريق الإيميل بتاع البرنامج whitecoat@alkarma.tv.com زي ما موجود قدامنا على الشاشة دلوقتي، أو حضراتكم ممكن تتصلوا بأرقامنا في الفقرة اللي هنخصصها للتفاعل مع حضراتكم، أو تقدروا تكلمونا أو تبعتوا لنا على الفيسبوك. هتظهر دلوقتي على الشاشة الصفحة بتاعتنا على الفيسبوك، تقدروا تبعتوا لنا كل اللي انتوا عايزينه. الحقيقة تفاعلكم معنا هو اللي هيحدد الخطوط العريضة لبرنامجنا. كمان مهم جدا ان تفاعلكم ده هنخليه هو البوصلة بتاعتنا اللي نقدر نحدد فيها موضوعاتنا اللي بتهم حضراتكم عن طريق التفاعل معنا في البرنامج عن طريق الفيسبوك. كمان مهم جدا ان احنا ناخد الفيدباك منكم عشان نتعلم ونصلح اي غلطات ممكن تحصل. والحقيقة في الآخر بحب أقدم كل الشكر لقنوات الكرمة إن هي طلعت عمل ضخم بالطريقة دي. بحب أقدم كل الشكر لأسرتي، أبويا وأمي، لمراتي اللي ساندتني طول فترة التحضيرات. الحقيقة هنبتدي فقراتنا النهاردة وايت كود، وهنبتدي بأول حاجة خطوات من أجل حياة صحية أفضل للرجال. يلا بينا نشوف خطوات برنامجنا النهاردة. Okay, our segment today for Healthy Hem will be about the worst enemy for men, especially after 40. Your worst enemy is usually your abdominal fat or your belly fat. And the worst enemy for men after 40 will be packing on belly fat, because it kills your testosterone, which causes a lot of symptoms like chronic fatigue, low endurance, weight gain, generalized body aches, and decreased libido. So I wanted to discuss with you today the 5 worst foods that packing on belly fat. The first worst enemy for men packing on belly fat is sugar alcohols. Sugar alcohols, these are sugar substitutes that are partially digested in your GI system. They are low calorie, but they create belly bloat in many people. They also have a tendency to spark hunger pangs, which leads to eating binge most of the time, and weight gain. That's why, please, any sweet product labeled as sugar-free or no sugar added is likely contain sugar alcohols or those sugar substitutes. The second worst enemy for you that packing on your belly fat is carbonated drinks. Diet and soft drinks are low calories, but they are widely linked, and all those stuff is from the latest research in Mayo Clinic. So they linked all those carbonated drinks, especially the diet ones, for weight gain and diabetes and belly fat. And scientists believe no calories or sweet drinks slow down your metabolism and push the body to store fat. Your third worst enemy for today, the high sodium food. Salt by itself does not contain any calories, but too much sodium in your food causes your body to retain excess water and make it very hard to achieve flat midsection. To keep sodium intake less than 2,000 calories, 2,000 milligram a day, or 1,500 milligram a day if you have high blood pressure. And please be aware of sodium, and especially when you're eating at a restaurant or in canned food. The fourth worst enemy will be refined carbs. And not all carbohydrates are created equally. White carbs like crackers or white bread or any kind of sugary cereals spike your blood sugar, leading to fat storage in the belly. And stuff like whole grains like brown rice, whole wheat pasta, and popcorn are rich in fiber, and it's better to prevent those fat in your belly section. The five worst enemy is alcohols, of course. And alcohols increase your appetite and lower the inhibitors, making it more difficult to resist the unhealthy food. دلوقتي أنا هترجم أكبر 5 أعداء للرجالة أو أكبر عدو للرجالة بعد سن ال40 بالذات هو الأبدومينال فات أو الدهون المتراكمة في منطقة البطن. والحقيقة طبقا لأحدث الأبحاث اللي طالعة من مايو كلينيك بتقول إنه أكتر 5 أطعمة بتساعد على تكوين الدهون في منطقة البطن بالذات، وزي ما أنا شرحت قبل كده إنه دي بتقتل التستوستيرون عند الرجالة وده هرمون الذكورة، وبتسبب كتير من الأعراض عند الرجالة. بنلاقيها إنه بيجوا دايما يقول لك في ألم في كل جسمي، أنا خملان، عندي شوية إحباط أو اكتئاب الفترة دي. وأهم من ده كله إنه بيقلل الرغبة الجنسية عند الرجال وبالذات بعد سن ال40. والحقيقة أسوأ 5 أطعمة لقوها، أول حاجة هي بدائل السكر. وبدائل السكر دي بتبقى موجودة في كل المنتجات اللي مكتوب عليها إنه ما فيهاش كالوريز أو فري شوجر، أو السكر اللي بيبقى في حبوب زي ما حضراتكم بتشوفوه في الأسواق أو الباودر. كل دول بيعملوا انتفاخات في منطقة البطن وبيساعدوا إن الدهون تتراكم في المنطقة دي. مش بس كده، ده كمان بيقلل الحرق في جسمك. عشان كده كل المنتجات اللي ناس كتير بتعتقد إنه مكتوب عليها sugar free أو no added sugar اللي هي خالية من السكر، دي بتبقى صحية أكتر. ولكن الحقيقة إن كل الأبحاث الجديدة أثبتت إنه هي بتساعد على تكوين الدهون في منطقة البطن. الحاجة التانية اللي كل مشاهدينا بيتخيلوا إنه دي صحية وبلاقي إقبال عليها كتير هي الكاربونيتد أو المواد الغازية أو زي الصودا بنوعينها اللي موجودين في السوق بشكل عام، وبالذات اللي مكتوب عليها دايت. يعني كل المياه الغازية اللي مكتوب عليها دايت دي في الحقيقة بتساعد ان انت تجوع اسرع، وبتساعد على تكوين الدهون في منطقة بطنك، وبالتالي بتقتل التستوستيرون في جسمك. الحاجة الثالثة المهمة جدا اللي هنناقشها الاكل المملح زيادة عن اللزوم. حضراتكم احنا كثقافة بالذات الثقافة الشرقية بنحب الاكل يبقى مملح قوي. الحقيقة الملح في حد ذاته ما فيهوش اي كالوريز، ولكن بيخلي ميه كتير تتراكم في جسمك، بيقلل الميتابوليزم بتاعك او بيقلل فكره الحرق بتاعك، وبالتالي بيساعد على تكوين دهون اكبر في منطقه البطن، وبالتالي ده بيقتل التستوستيرون في جسمك. الحاجه الرابعه ودي كلنا اعتقد انها معروفه عند كتير من مشاهدينا، مش كل انواع القمح اللي موجوده في السوق بتساعد ان انت يبقى عندك بطن مستويه. ولكن الانواع زي العيش الابيض وكل البسكوتات او كل المشتقات الدقيق الابيض بشكل عام دي بتساعد على تراكم الدهون في منطقه البطن. ولكن زي ما حضراتكم عارفين اللي هو بنسميه العيش السن او العيش اللي جاي من الرده او الرز البني اكتر بيبقى افضل بكتير جدا من الرز الابيض في الحاجات اللي زي دي، وبالذات عشان ما يبقاش عندك دهون في منطقه البطن ويأثر على نسبه التستوستيرون عندك. خامس حاجه ودي معروفه للكل طبعا هي المواد الكحوليه بكل انواعها. الحقيقه ان الكحول لقوه بالذات في الابحاث الجديده بتاع مايو كلينيك، لقوه انه بيزود الشهيه جدا، فبتلاقي نفسك جعان جدا بعد المشروبات الكحوليه. والحاجه الثانيه الاهم من ده انه بيقلل نسبه الحرق في جسمك، وبالتالي بيساعد على تكوين الدهون في المنطقه دي. وبالتالي نصيحتي النهارده لكل مشاهدينا من الرجال ان احنا اكبر عدو ليك هو الدهون في منطقه البطن، لانه فعلا بيقتل التستوستيرون وبيدمر حاجات كتيره عندك. فيا ريت نقلل من ال5 أطعمة دول عشان نحصل على حياة صحية بشكل أفضل. The tips for healthy hair today is about a very common problem, which is osteoporosis. And that's a very common problem for women, especially after menopause. And you need to know some stuff about the health of your bones, which is, it's very easy. In this segment, it's very easy. We'll discuss important tips to have healthy bones, protecting your bone, and it's very easier than what you think. And I picked up those 4 tips to help you keeping your bone healthy. The first step for you today is to strive calcium balance in your diet. That's why I chose today to bring you the top 8 calcium-rich food, and they are, number 1, raw milk. The raw milk, 1 cup of raw milk will give you about 30% of your daily needs. Number 2 food that very rich in calcium is kale. And 1 cup of kale can give you 24% of your daily needs. Number 3 food is sardines, especially with bones. 2 ounces of sardine can give you 21% of your daily needs. Yogurt or kefir, those can give you about 30% of your daily needs, just 6 ounces of those. Number 5 is 1 ounce of cheese can give you about 22% of your daily needs. Broccoli, 1.5 cup of broccoli, especially the cooked broccoli, can give you about 9% of your daily needs. 1 cup of okra can give you about 8% of your daily needs. Almonds, especially 1 ounce of almonds, can give you about 8% of your daily needs. In general, calcium food sources are found in the highest amounts in raw dairy and green vegetables. Number 2 tips for healthy bones today is to take your vitamin D along with your calcium. Vitamin D supplement is very important to make sure to take it on a daily basis to meet your requirement of your vitamin D. Number 3 tips is to get sunrise. Get out and get some sun every day. That would help your body to absorb more vitamin D and more calcium. Number 4 tips is weight-bearing exercise. You need to exercise like 20 minutes every day of weight-bearing exercise just to help your body and to get healthier bones. الحقيقة في الفقرة بتاعت healthy hair النهاردة أنا كنت عايز أناقش مشكلة كتير من مشاهدينا وبالذات الستات بيتعرضوا ليها بعد فترة انقطاع الطمس، وهي مشكلة هشاشة العظام. والحقيقة إن المشكلة دي سهل جدا إن احنا نقدر نتغلب عليها طول حياتنا لو احنا ابتدينا بشكل صح من سن صغير إن احنا نعمل ال4 حاجات دول اللي أنا هقول عليها لحضراتكم. رقم 1 إن احنا ناخد كالسيوم كل يوم. الكالسيوم مهم جدا لعظم حضرتك عشان يبقى عندك عظم صحي. والحقيقة أنا اخترت 8 مواد غذائية أو 8 وجبات هي الأعلى على الإطلاق في نسبة الكالسيوم الموجود فيها. رقم 1 اللبن، وده معروف لحضراتكم إنه كوباية واحدة من اللبن تقدر تديكي 30% من احتياجك اليومي، من احتياج جسمك اليومي للكالسيوم. الحاجة التانية الكيل اللي هو الليفت بشكل عام، الليفت فيه نسبة كالسيوم عالية جدا وهيساعد حضرتك إن أنت تحافظي على صحة عظمك. الحاجة الثالثة هو أسماك السردين، ودي مشهورة جدا في مصر ودي فيها نسبة كالسيوم عالية جدا. 2 أونسز بس من السردين بيديكي 21% من احتياجك اليومي. الحاجة الرابعة اللي هو الزبادي. الزبادي فيه نسبة كالسيوم عالية جدا يقدر يساعدك ان انت تاخدي 22% من احتياجك اليومي، كوباية زبادي واحدة. الحاجة الخامسة اللي هي الجبنة. الجبنة أونس واحد من الجبنة بيديكي 22% من احتياجك اليومي. البروكلي، وده الحقيقة صحي في حاجات كتير جدا بس هو فيه نسب عالية من الكالسيوم بتقدر تساعدك ان انت تحافظي على الصحة بتاعة عظمك. الحاجة السابعة هي الأوكرا أو البامية. البامية فيها نسب عالية جدا من الكالسيوم بالذات لو اتاكلت مطبوخة، وده بيساعد جدا على صحة إنه يبقى عندك عظمك، تحافظي على عظمك صحي وتاخدي نسب كويسة من الكالسيوم كل يوم. الحاجة الأخيرة هو اللوز. اللوز فيه برضه نسب عالية جدا من الكالسيوم. الحقيقة الخطوة الثانية إنه الكالسيوم لوحده مش هيبقى كفاية لصحة عظمك، فلازم تاخدي معاه فيتامين د أو فيتامين دي، وده تقدري تستشيري فيه طبيبك وبحيث ان انت تاخدي افضل فورمولا موجوده في السوق. ولكن عاده ان كل الفورمولاز بتبقى قريبه من بعض، مفيش بريفرنس الواحده على الثانيه. الحاجة الثالثة اللي أنا بسميها فيتامين د الطبيعي اللي هو بيجي من الشمس. لو حضرتك خرجتي كل يوم في الشمس لمدة 10-15 دقيقة ده بيساعد جسمك على امتصاص فيتامين د وبيساعد جسمك على امتصاص كالسيوم وبيساعد عظمك بشكل أفضل. الحاجة الأخيرة ودي اللي احنا مش موجودة في ثقافتنا كتير ولكن أنا بشجع حضراتكم إن انتوا تعملوها، هو 20 دقيقة من التمرينات اليومية. حد هيسألني نقدر نعمل تمرينات ازاي في الحياة المشغولة والزحمة اللي احنا فيها؟ في 3 حاجات عايز اقولها لحضرتك. الحاجة الأولى المشي، وده سهل جدا ان احنا نقدر نعمله في أي وقت في البيت في الشارع، بيبقى سهل جدا ان احنا نعمله. الحاجة التانية لو ما مشيتيش كتير اليوم ده عندكم في البيت اطلعي السلم وانزليه كذا مرة لأنه ده اكسرسايز مفيد جدا. وزي ما أنا قلت كل حلقتنا النهاردة هي أحدث الأبحاث اللي متاخدة من مايو كلينيك، وده بيساعد حضرتك ان انت تحافظي على نسبة الكالسيوم اللي موجودة في جسمك وما تعانيش من مشكلة هشاشة العظام. الحاجة الثالثة ودي اللي انا كنت متردد ان انا اناقشها مع حضراتكم النهاردة، ولكن الرأس بشكل عام ثبت علميا، في ابحاث اتعملت عليه وثبت علميا انه بيساعد لانه بيعتبر من التمرينات المفيدة جدا، فمدة 20 دقيقة كل يوم هتبقى مفيدة جدا. بس انا مش عايز حضراتكم ان احنا ناخد الحاجة الثالثة ونسيب الحاجتين الاولانيين وجوزك يرجع من البيت يلاقيكي بترقصي طول اليوم فتقولي له الدكتور قال لي اعمل تمرينات. دي كانت فقرتنا النهارده بالنسبه لهيلثي هير. هشوفكم في هيلثي كيدز. For healthy kids النهارده, for healthy kids today, this segment will take it like a journey together. And today we'll start with how to feed your newborn. Although a newborn feeding schedule can be unpredictable, here is what, when, and how to feed your baby. Feeding a newborn is around-the-clock commitment is also an opportunity to begin forming a bond with your newest member of your family. Consider these steps for feeding your newborn. Number 1 tip, stick with the breast milk or the formula. Breast milk is the ideal food for babies, with rare exception like enzymatic deficiency or any of that stuff. If breastfeeding is not possible, use infant formula. Healthy newborn do not need water or juice or any fluids. Number 2 tip for today is feed your newborn on demand. Most newborns need 8 to 12 feedings a day, about 1 feeding every 2 to 3 hours. Look for early signs for hunger, such as, and I call those 3 S's. Every smart mom should predict the early signs of hunger for her kids. And the 3 S's are stirring, stretching, and sucking motion on your lap kid. But to get to the point as your kid getting fussy and crying, those are later cues. The sooner you begin each feeding, the less likely you will need to soothe the frantic baby. When your baby sleeps sucking, closes his or her mouth, or turn away from your nibble or bottle, he or she might be full. Or simply taking a break, try burping your kid and waiting for a minute before offering your breast again or the bottle again. As your baby gets older, he or she will take more milk in less time of each feeding. Number 3 tip is consider vitamin D supplement. Ask your baby's doctor or the pediatrician about vitamin D supplement for the baby, especially your breastfeeding. Breast milk might not provide enough vitamin D, which helps your baby to absorb calcium and phosphorus nutrients necessarily for strong bones. Number 4 tip is expect variations in your newborn eating pattern. Your newborn will not necessarily eat the same amount every day. During growth spurts, and it's more often at 2 to 3 weeks after birth, and again after 6 weeks after birth, your newborn might take more feeding, or it might be fed more often. Response to early signs of hunger, as I explained earlier, rather than keeping a strict eye on the clock. Number 5 tips, which is very, very important, to trust your instincts. You might worry that your newborn is not eating enough, but babies usually know how much they need. Don't focus too much on how much and how often or how regularly your newborn eats. instead of that, looking for the steady weight gain or contaminants between feedings. By the 5th day after birth, at least 6 wet diapers and 3 or more bowel movement a day. Contact the doctor or contact the pediatrician for your newborn is not gaining enough weight, because that's very important, with fewer less than 6 diapers a day, or show little interest in feeding. Number 6, which I consider one of the most important steps, is try to make a bond with your baby in each time you feed him. Hold on your newborn close during each feeding. Look at him or her eyes. Speak with a very gentle voice. Use each feeding as an opportunity to build your newborn sense of security, trust, and comfort. والحقيقة أنا عايز أقول النهاردة من أجل صحة أفضل لأطفالنا في 6 خطوات مهمين جدا لازم نعملهم، بالذات زي ما أنا شرحت إنه هناخدها مع حضراتكم زي رحلة من اليوم الأول للولادة لحد إن شاء الله ما يكبروا. في حاجات مهمين جدا تعملوها في أول 3 شهور مع البيبي. مهم جدا إن أنت تبقى عارف إمتى وإزاي وتأكل ابنك إيه في الفترة دي من الولادة. رقم 1 إن إحنا لازم نستخدم اللبن الطبيعي للأم، ده بيبقى أفضل كتير من الفورمولاز. تاني حاجة مهم جدا إن إحنا نأكل أطفالنا ما بين 8 ل 12 مرة في اليوم، يعني بمعدل كل 2-3 ساعات. رقم 3 ودي مهمة جدا، إنه دايما لبن الأم ما فيهوش فيتامين دي كفاية، فمهم جدا إن إحنا نستشير أخصائي طب الأطفال نسأله على فورمولا كويسة لفيتامين د أو فيتامين دي إن إحنا نقدر نديها مع لبن الأم. رقم 4 وده مهم جدا، إنه حضرتك مش ابنك أو بالذات في أول 3-4 شهور مش هياكل نفس الكمية كل يوم، فتوقعي إنه يحصل اختلافات. بالذات عند سن 3 أسابيع، لأنه دي تبقى طفرة من طفرات النمو فبياكل أكتر من الطبيعي، والطفرة التانية بتحصل عند 6 أسابيع فبياكل برضو أكتر من الطبيعي، بس مش لازم ياكل نفس الكمية كل يوم. رقم 5 بدل ما تعتمدي على حستك الشخصية وتفضلي قلقانة إن ابنك ما يقدر ما كلش كويس، هنعتمد على حاجة أساسية إن إحنا دايما نوزنه، وتتأكدي إنه بيتوزن كل مرة عند الدكتور بتاعه لما بتروحي له، وطالما بيكسب الوزن المثالي كل مرة فما تقلقيش على إنه بياكل إيه أو بياكل إزاي. الحاجة الأخيرة ودي أنا بعتبرها من أهم الخطوات، إن أنت دايما لازم تعتبري إنه كل رضعة هي فرصة جديدة إن أنت تبني علاقة جديدة مع طفلك، علاقة فيها أمان وثقة. فمهم جدا إن وأنت بترضعي طفلك الحاجات اللي بنشوفها إن أنا ممكن أبقى مشغولة أو بكلم حد، لا، دايما تبصي له أو تبص لها في عينيه وأنت شايلاه بشكل قريب قوي منك، وتتكلمي دايما تتكلمي معاه بصوت هادي جدا، وتبقى زي حوار او conversation ما بينكم انتوا الاثنين، عشان ده بيبني ثقة وبيدي الطفل الشعور بالأمان. Now we're going to go to the next segment in our live show today, which is biography about our guest today, Dr. Simon Karmarkar, and we'll get back to you.
I'm Simon Karmarkar. I will be the mentor and co-host for Alkarma TV's White Coat. You know, one of the questions I get asked very frequently is, why did you pick the field of addiction? And my response, always, is that I didn't pick it, it picked me. You see, I know experientially what it's like to be in the grips of this disease. I know what it's like to be a slave to alcohol. Fortunately today, I can tell you that I have 14 and a half years sober. So I know what it's like to experience that transformation. After completing treatment, I obtained my master's degree and got a job. And it was during that time, my higher power, God, he kept on pulling me and pushing me and kind of leading me towards starting my own drug and alcohol treatment center. And on prayer and on faith, I decided to start my own drug and alcohol rehab center called Anamika Recovery Center. It was during that time God said to me, I will bring you my sick children. All I want you to do is remain available to help them. And during my stay with Anamika Recovery Center, we helped hundreds of people and their families. As a mental health professional and a therapist, nothing brings me more joy than to help one individual transform their life and lead a better quality of life. Bringing families together, because addiction is a family disease. But God wasn't finished with me. He wanted me to pursue even a higher level of education. So I enrolled in a doctorate program. And most recently, I became an internationally published author. Our book on cultural diversity and inclusion is now available in 13 countries. None of my adventures, from starting the Drug and Alcohol Rehab Center, to pursuing acting on stage recreationally, to the singing, playing tablas, none of these adventures could have been possible without the support of my wife, Jenny. She's my rock. Her heart is my home. We also like to play fetch with our Cavalier King Charles Spaniel Winston and play with our two cats, Coco and Chanel. So this is our family. And as the mentor for the addiction and mental health campaign and the co-host for White Coat, brought to you by Alkarma TV, I'd like to invite you to join me and watch White Coat on Alkarma TV.
Welcome back. We're discussing today, or our topic for the episode today is addiction from different perspectives. And what I mean by that is we're taking the addiction from a higher level perspective, like the mayor of Huntington Beach or the chief of police in Huntington Beach will take the Christian or the faith point of view and will take the medical point of view. And today I have the honor to have Dr. Simon Karmarkar, my future co-host, and our mentor for the mental health and addiction campaigns. Welcome, Dr. Simon.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to be here.
Today you will be with us to discuss the medical point of view for addiction.
Correct.
Or the medical perspective for addiction.
Correct.
So in the beginning, I would like to ask you to pray with me or start with a prayer for the audience.
Okay.
So if we can pray together.
Sure.
أنا الحقيقة بتشرف إن النهاردة يكون معايا دكتور سايمون كارماركر والحقيقة إحنا هنناقش النهاردة الإدمان من وجهات نظر مختلفة. قبل ما نبتدي ندخل في التفاصيل الحلقات الجاية كل نوع من الإدمان وطرق علاجه سواء النفسي أو الكيميائي أو الحبوب أو العلاجي. هنناقش كل نوع معاكم بكل مشاكله، ولكن النهاردة هنتكلم على الإدمان بصفة عامة وهناخد وجهات نظر مختلفة. وجهة نظر الحكومة في الإدمان كمشكلة، وجهة نظر المسيحية كديانة في مشكلة الإدمان. كمان هناخد وجهة النظر الطبية، وبيشرفني النهاردة أن يكون معايا دكتور سايمون كارماركر. الحقيقة أنا سألته أن احنا هنبتدي بصلاة قصيرة في البداية هنصليها احنا الاثنين مع بعض قبل ما نبتدي الحلقة النهاردة مع حضراتكم. Ready?
Shall we pray?
Yeah, we should start.
Lord, Make me an instrument of thy peace. That where there is hatred, I may bring love. That where there is wrong, I may bring the spirit of forgiveness. That where there is discord, I may bring harmony. That where there is error, I may bring truth. That where there is doubt, I may bring faith. That where there is despair, I may bring hope. That where there are shadows, I may bring light. That where there is sadness, I may bring joy. Lord, grant that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds, it is by forgiving that one is forgiven, it is by dying that one awakens to eternal life.
Amen. The first question will come to everybody's mind about addiction. Does addiction exist? Or if it exists, what is addiction? The definition of addiction from a medical perspective.
So addiction clearly exists because addiction is a disease. Addiction is not a lack of willpower. Addiction also isn't a moral dilemma. It is not that a person has gone bad. So I hear oftentimes when I speak with parents about their children, or even a spouse talking about another spouse, that my husband used to be good when I married him, now he's gone bad. My child was so good when he was younger, and now that he's a teenager, he's acting badly. And so it is a disease that has a biological component. It is a disease that has a neurological component. It is a disease that has a psychosocial component. And clearly, everything starts because of a spiritual malady. And we'll talk about the spiritual malady component last.
في الحقيقة أنا سألت دكتور سايمون في البداية إذا أنت بتقول إنه الإدمان مرض، إيه هو تعريف الإدمان من وجهة النظر الطبية؟ فالحقيقة هو جاوبني إجابة في الأول وقال لي إنه الإدمان مرض زيه زي أي مرض تاني، له عوامل كتيرة جدا، ولكن الإدمان ده مش نقص في الإرادة زي ما الناس بتتخيل، أو هو فساد في الأخلاق أو الكلام ده كله، ولكن هو مرض زي أي مرض في الدنيا. الحاجة كمان اللي قالها لي إنه له عوامل كتيرة جدا بتأثر فيه، منها عوامل جينية، إذن هو جزء منه وراثي، وعوامل بيئية، وعوامل اجتماعية. If we came to our second question, if you call it a disease already, do you have any other diseases have like similar crises like addiction?
Oh, absolutely. So oftentimes, addiction is compared to diabetes. It is compared to hypertension. It is compared to asthma. And so if we take a look at, in my presentation, slide 5,
okay,
you will see a comparison of the relapse rate.
Okay.
And so what we talk about relapse, we're actually talking about how, so if you're a diabetic and you were told to only have one donut or one piece of pie, and you have a second piece of pie, then your blood sugar is going to be high.
Right.
And so now, even though you were told to only have one, you had two, you had a relapse, right? Or if you were told not to have any and you have one, then you've had a relapse.
Right. And in this slide,
and in the slide presentation, so if you look at slide 5, drug addiction, so these are 40 to 60% of the time. This is when somebody says, I will not drink anymore. They will say, I will not do drugs anymore. And they may be able to stop for 3 days, 5 days, 3 months, and they will return back to it. And so this is the percentage of the time that somebody has a relapse.
Okay. The drug addiction has 40 to 60%, as the slides say, and type 1 diabetes is
30 to 50%.
Okay.
And then so if we take a look at hypertension, 50 to 70%, and then asthmatics are also 50 to 70%. But the interesting thing is that when somebody who was told not to have a dessert has a dessert, we don't yell at that person. We don't threaten that person that we're going to throw them out of the house.
الحقيقة أنا عايز أترجم الجزء المهم ده اللي قاله دكتور سايمون، وهو قال بيأكد إنه الإدمان اللي إحنا بنناقشه النهاردة مرض زيه زي أي مرض آخر. والحقيقة السلايد اللي هو جابها لنا دي كان بيقارن ما بين الإدمان والسكر، بالذات الرقم التايب 1 منه، والارتفاع الضغط او الازمه، مرضى الازمه. فالحقيقه هو بيقارن لي هنا، بيقول انه مريض السكر بنقول له انت ما تاكلش حاجات سكريه كتير او حلويات كتير. فهو بيقارن زيه زي الادمان، انه زي ما المدمن بيقرر انا مش هشرب كحول او مش هاخد الماده اللي انا بتعاطاها، ولكن بيحصل نوع من الريلابس او الانتكاسه. فاحنا بيقول انه بما انه مرض زي اي مرض، لو مريض السكر مثلا اخد كميات حلويات كتيره، احنا ما بنفضلش نزعق له ولكن احنا بنعالجه. وهو بيقول انه نسبه الانتكاسه في الادمان بتوصل من 40 ل 60% زي ما حضراتكم شايفين على السلايد. نسبة الانتكاسة في مرضى السكر بتحصل من 30 ل 50%، وفي المرضى الضغط العالي بتبقى من 50 ل 70%، وفي مرضى الأزمة بتبقى من 50 ل 70% أيضا. إذن هو بيأكد أنه مرض وله انتكاسات زي أي مرضى تانيين، زي مرضى الأزمة لما ما ياخدوش أدوية لفترة طويلة، أو مرضى السكر لما ما ياخدوش إنسولين لفترة طويلة ويبتدوا ياكلوا حلويات ويلخبطوا في النظام ده. Okay, so we settled the first concept that the addiction is a disease, right?
Right.
Okay, so what's the stage of addiction and recovery? Like, especially, does it happen overnight, the addiction as a problem? Does it happen overnight, or how it progress?
You know, that's a great question. So if we take a look at slide 6, in this graphic, it'll actually walk you through, and if you notice, that arrow is actually the shape of the letter U, or you, the alcoholic, you, the addict.
Right.
On the left-hand side of it, these are all the stages of addiction. So at the very top part is the early stage, and we'll talk about each of these stages in greater detail here shortly. And as the individual continues to use drugs or use alcohol or use food, it could be addiction to internet porn, it could be addiction to sex. There are many different types of addictions, right? And so in each stage, things start happening that are biologically worse, more medical issues start taking place, more psychosocial issues start taking place. And then the last stage is the chronic stage. And so the disease of addiction, as we can see, is very progressive. There's some early symptoms, then there's a crucial stage, and then there's a chronic stage. And then that letter,
The other
U,
side of
is the
U
bottom.
letter. Okay. الحقيقة لما أنا بسأل دكتور سايمون إذا أنت قلت إنه مرض، فكل مرض بيمر بمراحل. إيه هي مراحل الإدمان؟ فالحقيقة الراجل شرح على السلايد اللي كانت موجودة قدامنا إنه في حرف زي حرف يو. الجزء اللي نازل منه عند القمة بتاعته دي بتبقى المراحل الأولية لأعراض الإدمان، وبعدين بتبتدي بالمراحل اللي بتبتدي فيها كل المشكلات، ودي هنناقشها النهارده في حلقتنا. والمرحلة الأخيرة اللي هي عند القاع بتاع أول الحرف يو ده، إنه هي بتبقى مشكلة مزمنة أو مرض مزمن. خلاص إحنا اتفقنا مع حضراتكم إن إحنا بنناقش مرض زيه زي أي مرض. What about the recovery phases?
Okay, so if we continue to look at this diagram, once the individual, and sometimes the whole family, because this disease affects everybody in the family, once everyone has had enough, including the enabler, the codependent, as well as the addict, when everyone has had enough, that's when change can start take the place. And then you have the early stage of recovery, followed by the middle stage of recovery, and then late stage or aftercare. So we're going to talk about both the going down in life and then coming back up in life. So the transformational piece.
The urgent question that comes to me now, we said it's a disease. How would I know that I become an addict?
Okay, that's a great question. So how does one know? Because this disease is very cunning, this disease is very baffling, this disease is very powerful, and this disease is very subtle, and that's why it's cunning. So let's take a look at the early stage and the signs of we're in the early stage. So this would be on slide 7.
أنا سألت الحقيقة دكتور سايمون، أوكي إحنا اتفقنا إنه خلاص هو مرض، له مراحل المرض بيمر بيها ومراحل التعافي، والاتنين هنناقشهم النهاردة. بس الحقيقة أوكي هو مرض وأنا مريض، إزاي أعرف إنه أنا مريض؟ لأنه هنناقش مراحل الإدراك بعد كده لمشكلة الإدمان. فأنا سؤالي له إزاي أعرف إنه أنا مريض أو إن أنا أصبحت مدمن؟
Okay, so on slide 7, we talk about the early symptoms and signs of the early stage of the disease. This is when the individual comes home and they just want to have one drink just because they've had a hard day at work. their tolerance goes up. So they will start telling their spouses or family members, on weekends, instead of having one, I'm going to have 3 or 4. And now on weekdays, instead of having one, they're having 2 or 3, because the effects from just that one drink is not getting them where they want to be.
Right. الحقيقة أنا لما سألت دكتور سايمون إزاي أبتدي أعرف إن أنا ابتديت أبقى مدمن، فهو قال إنه أنت في الأول لما بتاخد، هناخد مثال على الألكحول، لو أنت بتاخد كوباية واحدة وده كان بيديك التأثير اللي أنت كنت بتحس بسعادة بيه وقتها، الكوباية الواحدة دي بتبقى مش كفاية بعدين، وبتبقى محتاج كوبايتين أو 3 أو 4. لو أنت بتاخد جرام اوف هيروين من الهيروين 1 جرام كل يوم، الجرام ده ما بيبقاش كفاية، وبتحتاج إن أنت تزود الدوز، ودي المرحلة الأولى من إن أنت تبتدي تعرف إن أنت بقيت مدمن. What other signs and symptoms?
There are some other very clever signs. So when a family is getting ready to go for dinner, the individual is constantly preoccupied with the drug. So if it's alcohol, and the family decides to go to a restaurant where they don't serve alcohol, the individual will start throwing a tantrum, and he will somehow manipulate the situation so that they go to restaurants that only serve alcohol. And so they're constantly preoccupied of how am I going to get that next drink. If they're sitting down at the restaurant, they will pretend that they have a phone call, or they recall that they must talk to their boss and walk away and go to the bar and have a quick shot.
الحقيقة بيقول إنه الساين التانية أو العلامة التانية المهمة جدا اللي أنت تبتدي تعرفها، إن أنت كل مخك بيبقى مركز إن أنت إزاي تحصل على المادة دي، المادة اللي أنت بقيت مدمن عليها. لو أنت الكحول بيبقى كل تركيزك إزاي تجيب المادة دي من ورا عيلتك، أو إن أنت لما تروح بار أول حاجة هتعملها إن أنت إزاي هتوصل للدرينك بتاعك. What other signs and symptoms?
So a couple other signs include when you confront them about, hey, you know what, you're drinking every day now. You're drinking more on the day than you used to drink. There's denial, and excuses will start coming up.
الحاجة الثالثة إنه إحنا لما بتبتدي تواجه المريض ده بإن أنت خلي بالك أنت عندك مشكلة، أو إن أنت ابتديت تبقى متعود على المادة دي، بتبتدي تلاقي أعذار كتيرة جدا، بتبتدي تلاقي غضب، الرد دايما بغضب بيبقى موجود. Other symptoms and signs?
And then the last 2 symptoms is in spite of negative consequences, they continue to drink. So even if they had a DUI, they will just blame the police officer. Or if you're looking at your child's backpack and you find a pipe in there, they're going to say it's somebody else's pipe, it's their friend's pipe.
الحقيقة واحدة من الساينز المهمة جدا اللي دكتور سايمون قالها النهاردة، إنه دايما الشخص اللي ابتدى يبقى مدمن بيحط كل اللوم على الآخرين، دايما هي غلطة الآخرين، دايما إنه الآخرين هم اللي مضطهدينه أو عايزين يظهروه في صورة وحشة. ودي واحدة من الساينز المهمة جدا. بالحاجة كمان المهمة جدا اللي هو قالها، ان انت بتبتدي تروح عكس عيلتك وتحاول تخبي حاجات، اللي هي الحاجات اللي كل الأسر متعودة وبتشوفها في الحالات اللي زي دي. Now we would like to take the problem from a higher level perspective. Let's go and see the mayor of Huntington Beach, and what did she say about the addiction problems?
That's a great idea.
All right.
To the City Council. I served on the Planning Commission from 2008 to 2012.
Okay. And then you've also been part of the Chamber of Commerce, if I'm not correct.
Yes. It's a great organization, local organization, and I had the good fortune to chair the board in 2009.
Well, welcome. Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Sure.
The first campaign that we're doing for the show White Coats is on addiction and mental health. And so before we move into the interview portion, is there anything you'd like to say before we get there?
Just that we're grateful that you're here, and that this issue is a timely issue for not just our city, but every city. It's an issue that's happening everywhere, and I think the more attention and light that we can bring to it is better for all of us.
When I was searching, it's 27 million people in America last year. They self-reported themselves misused the drugs, especially prescription drugs and opiate drugs. So how is the community of Huntington Beach is affected by a drug abuse problem?
Well, like most communities, I do know that we have issues. It's been exacerbated in the last couple of years with the early release of formerly felons. Now they've reduced many of their sentences to misdemeanors, so they get out early, and more communities are having that issue, having people like that in their community. And so what we tend to see happen is petty crimes and crimes of opportunity that really impact the quality of life. And fortunately, here in Huntington Beach, we have a really very robust police department, and they do a very fine job. But it is still a challenge, because things happen. They can't be everywhere.
So the early release program has actually put a burden on the community and other communities like Huntington Beach.
Yes, and I think originally, if I'm not mistaken, the program was supposed to offer to the early release individuals services, and I don't think that part of the bill has ever come through. Mm-hmm. And so cities and communities are often, they have to do it, and often they're not staffed for that. And people, at the end of the day, most of the time are going to have to come voluntarily.
Right.
We can't make them go.
Right.
So, and to your point, Dr. Tamer, I am aware mental illness is certainly an issue through the United States, through the whole world. People don't realize how prevalent it is. Somebody explained it to me this way, especially for people that are homeless, their safety nets just really ran out, because there's people who own homes or rent homes and they have mental illness, but they're in a home.
Right.
So if you can imagine, you lose your job or you go through a divorce or something just takes you to the very end and you really have nothing left. And then that's, there you are, you're on the street. There's a National Alliance of Mental Illness, and they have a local chapter here in Orange County, very, very active. And I heard the president speak not that long ago and suggested that almost every community has at least 10% of its population that struggle with that. And I would hope through programs like yours, getting the word out, that people understand it's not that they're bad people, it's just that they're ill and they can use help.
Actually, Mayor Barbara, when I was doing research about the economic impact, I found out the yearly annual economic impact for the misuse of drugs is $442 billion.
No kidding.
When I was thinking about this for a second, from your perspective, what would be your vision for assisting the community with the substance abuse issue?
Great question. I would think if we could have, services of some kind. Now, I know they're slowly rolling things out like that. But I do believe if you have a sober living home or a actual office, people are going to have to be encouraged to go, but it's also going to have to be safe for the residents as well, because I think there's a stigma of being, frightened. Who are these people? Where are they coming? Right? But I do believe all of our cities, our county, could certainly do more services.
How drug addiction problems affecting a city like Huntington Beach in different perspectives, like homelessness, crowded ERs, emergency rooms, and violence level in a city like Huntington Beach?
Well, the one thing that's really, we've been blessed in Huntington Beach. It's a real strong community. We have strong schools, strong faith-based communities that offer a lot of help. But I think it would do parents well to educate themselves on the clues to look for, because children today in high schools, we don't know what their challenges are compared to what they used to be. The pressures that they're feeling if they're not on a team, or maybe they feel a little left out. There are so many things available today, and sometimes it's just there's so many available that it's a little overwhelming. Parents could use some help, some direction. And so my suggestion to parents or relatives, aunts and uncles, grandparents, if they're concerned about their child, to reach out and see where they can get help, because there's a lot available. It's just not going to come to you necessarily. You're going to have to ask around.
We're witnessing a war, as what I call it is a war on children today, when their parents start misusing drugs and alcohol. What kind of advice would you give to the parents, especially for middle schoolers and high schoolers, teenagers?
That's a tough one, because at that age, They're concerned. Certainly, they don't want to, give out a family secret, right?
The rebellious part of.
Yes, and that's why I think first, not responders, that's not the word, but teachers, for example, are really there every single day. If they can trust their teacher or can talk to their teacher or maybe a counselor at school, that may be able to help them because, even our parents today, they're under a lot of pressure. Our economy tanked so terribly about 7-8 years ago. People are still recovering from that.
Absolutely.
And so the pressure today with both parents working and traffic and all sorts of stuff, sometimes people just need to unwind a little bit, and then it gets into a habit, and it can just increase and to the point where they're not really functional as parents. So it's really not a great example for our kids.
Adult Use of Marijuana Act, since it becomes a law on November 2016. Is there any zoning or coding restrictions now in Huntington Beach?
Huntington Beach right now does not have any. We're a city that does not. What we're doing is we're waiting to see how it's received in some of the other communities because there's a lot of hype right now about how much money you're going to make. I have tremendous compassion for people who need to use it for their illness or for whatever they have going on, because I've actually personally had friends that have had to use it, and it was a great relief for them. But I think right now we're waiting and seeing because we have a big community, and if we get it wrong, we really don't have a chance to bring it back.
Right.
So I think we've been smart, being slow to really make a decision, but we're not going to go forever and ever. I think something in the near future we'll figure out what's going to be best for the community.
How can a show like White Coat would help the community from your perspective?
I think it would be really wise if you were to make an appointment with the superintendents of the high school or the middle schools, elementary schools. I'm sure you have your product that can address the different ages, correct?
Right.
Yeah, and I think that would be a great way. Also, we have a very strong faith-based community here in the city of Huntington Beach. I would reach out to them as well because many have after school care. The other organization I'm extremely passionate about, it's very, very important here in our city and most communities around, is the Boys and Girls Club. They service anywhere from 7,000 to 8,000 students a day throughout the community, our communities nearby, and we're really fortunate. We have very dedicated people that run it, and we have one just opened just a few years ago up on the Golden West College campus, which serves the north end of town, and then we have one right here, not far from City Hall, and then over in Fountain Valley. So that would be an excellent way because the children are there every day, and it's not uncommon for them to be told about different things. And it would be a great way to get it out to their parents, too.
I promise we'll do whatever it takes to help.
Yeah, and if we can be of service, if I can, please reach out to us. This is a city that really listens to its community, really tries to bring services that they want. And if we can get this out somehow, if there's a way that the city can help you do that, we'd be very open to doing that.
Well, I'd like to thank you so very much from the bottom of my heart and from also Dr. Tamer's heart for spending this time with us.
Thank you so much. Yeah, appreciate it.
Hope to see you soon.
Yes, you will.
ده كان اللقاء بتاعنا مع المير او الحاكمه بتاعت مدينه هانينتون بيتش هنا، وازاي بصت على المشكله بتاع الادمان. وانا هترجم ده لحضراتكم الحلقه الجايه عشان وقتنا النهارده. هرجع مع دكتور سايمون عشان نكمل بعض الاسئله المهمه قبل ما ينضم لنا ضيفنا الثاني اللي هيتكلم على المنتجات المختلفه اللي نقدر نغذي بيها مخنا ونخليه في بيأدي وظائفه بشكل افضل. Dr. Simon, I would like to get back to you about what if you said it's a disease? Every disease has like risk factors. So what are the risk factors for being an addict?
Well, this is a great question because it segues into the next stage, the crucial stage of addiction. And so the risk factors really become you start having occupational problems. You're not showing up to work on time. You're leaving work early. You're getting written up at work. Then you have social problems. Families don't want to go out with you to a party, let's say, because you lose control and the alcoholic or the addict starts arguing with everybody. Children don't want to bring their friends home because your dad might be drunk, your dad might be acting out. So you have financial problems. You're no longer able to pay the bill. Getting that next drink, that next drug becomes such a priority that everything else goes on the back burner. And then legal problems, right? And so you get into fights at restaurants, you get into fights in social places, you can get additional DUIs, which means jail times, at getting an attorney. And so all of these become very essential identifiers or risk factors that you want to take a look at as an individual goes from the early stage to the crucial stage.
هو قال الحقيقة إنه في أعراض كمان بتبقى موجودة على البيشنتس. أنا سألته على إيه المخاطر اللي ممكن تخلي واحد مدمن. فهو الحقيقة قال إنه الأول بيمر بمشاكل عديدة جدا، منها مشاكل أسرية، بيبتدي يحصل مشاكل مع أسرته، مع زوجته، مع أولاده، ما بيقضيش نفس الوقت. بيبتدي يحصل له مشاكل في الشغل، إنه ما يروحش الشغل في أوقات كتيرة. بيبتدي إنه كمان يحصل له مشاكل مالية كبيرة جدا، كل ده وهو لسه مش مدرك حجم المشكلة اللي هو وقع فيها. Okay, so those risk factors, is it more of a genetic, environmental? Like, what do you think?
Okay, so let's take a look at slide 16, and we take a look at the breakdown between, is it a genetic issue or is it an environmental issue? Okay. What I like to say really is that biology or genetics loads the weapon and the environment pulls the trigger. So studies have shown that if one parent, for example, has addiction issues and they're going to pass it on to their offspring, there's a 4-fold chance that it'll happen. If both parents are addicted, there's an 8-fold chance. So studies have also shown that when we take a look at identical twins, that both of them eventually develop some form of an addiction. So now we have genetic markers, and we can and we will be doing a specific episode on talking about how we can identify now in infants when they get to be of a certain age that they will eventually have some kind of an addiction issue.
هو الحقيقة لما أنا سألته إيه المخاطر اللي ممكن يتعرض لها أي واحد عشان يصبح، أو المسببات لأنه واحد يصبح مدمن، فهو قال لي جزء منها بيبقى جيني. ودي رسالة مهمة جدا لكل أب وكل أم، إن أنت لما بتبتدي الطريق ده عادة الجينز دي بتروح لأولادك بعدين. الحاجة التانية قال إنه جزء كبير منها بيبقى بيئي، نتيجة البيئة، ودي برضو رسالة مهمة جدا لكل أب وكل أم. أنت البيئة اللي بتطلع فيها أولادك بتبقى عاملة إزاي، أصدقائهم عاملين إزاي، علاقاتهم عاملين إزاي، عشان ده كله مهم جدا. دكتور سايمون قال نقطة مهمة جدا، إنه في دلوقتي تحاليل جينية بنقدر من خلالها نقيس مدى القابلية بتاعتك إن أنت تبقى مدمن. Okay, we called it, it's a disease. There is all those kind of genetic labs and all those stuff. So since you called it a disease and we have predictors for it, any disease would make some changes in our body organs. So what are the brain changes, since you called it, it's a brain disease? What are the brain changes that we're seeing in the brain for an addict?
Okay, so let's take a look at slide 18. And on slide 18, this is what the substance dependence and the brain reward system looks like. The reward system begins in a specific area of the brain. And this actually happens just knowing, right? So if I have a good friend that I always have a glass of wine with or a beer with, just knowing that I'm going to be having that encounter releases chemicals. So the neurotransmitters are now tapped, the receptors are now tapped, and there's actually a very Pavlovian in its makeup, right? So the study was when Pavlov rang the bell, right, the dog would salivate. Right. And so that typically is what happens with the alcoholic also. And so if you see the reward system is activated by anything from cocaine, methamphetamine, heroin, food, alcohol.
Let me translate that very quick. لما أنا سألت الحقيقة دكتور سايمون، أوكي، بما إنه مرض، فأي مرض بيعمل تغييرات عضوية في بعض أعضاء جسمنا. قال لي أيوة، الإدمان بيعمل تغييرات في تركيبة المخ وفي المواد الكيميائية الناقلة لكل السيجنالز أو الإشارات اللي بتحصل في المخ، بيتم تغييرها تماما. وقال لي إنه أهم مادة في دي كلها هي مادة الدوبامين اللي بيزيد إفرازها في المخ جدا في جهاز بنسميه جهاز المكافأة. لما بتحب تكافئ نفسك بأكل كويس، هو نفس فكرة الدراجز. المادة دي بتزيد جدا، بيتم زيادة إفرازها جدا في مخك، وهو الحقيقة دلوقتي هيقارن لنا ما بين الحاجات دي. So for food, we're starting with food.
Well, let me say one other thing, that physiologically, the prefrontal cortex, right, that is where our executive decision making happens. That is where our emotional decision making happens. And so what we want to do is we want to take a look at when somebody is under the influence of an alcohol or drug, and yet they continue to drink and drive, for example. And so we want to make sure that we understand that this disease affects the individual neurologically, which in turn affects them biologically, which in turn affects the psychosocial component.
And you had MRIs for the brain in those cases?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we, for example, if we were to take a look at slide 22, this is a normal brain scan from a 38-year-old male, and up on the upper left-hand corner of slide 22, you're going to see what a normal brain looks like. And so the normal brain, that's slide 22, is a normal brain, is on the upper. It says the normal brain scan, SPECT image, different from the brain on alcohol. That's the name of the slide. And so you'll see that underside of the surface is almost like a tooth where a cavity is starting to take place. And so when we abuse any chemicals, there's an alteration of the actual physiology of the brain.
Okay, and for the PET scan for substance abuse, if you know.
Yeah, so if we take a look at the PET scan, which is on slide 23, you can see all that yellow, that's a normal brain activity. And then take a look at a cocaine abuser with 10 days of abstinence. So this is a person who has not used cocaine for 10 days. That's the middle picture. And you can see that yellow, that at the very bottom portion of the image. And then to the right of that is you can see a cocaine abuser who has had 100 days of abstinence. And you can see how the cells are regenerating and the yellow portions are increasing.
Actually انا الحقيقه عايز اترجم الجزء ده لحضراتكم بالذات السلايد الاخيره بما انه احنا اتفقنا خلاص انه الادمان مرض وبيعمل تغيرات عضويه في المخ فدي الحقيقه صوره للمخ اتاخدت الصوره اللي على الشمال خالص اللي هي فيها اصفر كتير ده المخ الطبيعي وهتلاقوا لحضراتكم كميه الاصفر اللي موجوده فيه دي الوظائف الطبيعيه للمخ الصورة اللي جنبها على طول دي بعد 10 أيام من مريض للكريستال ميث توقف عن استخدامه وشايفين حضراتكم كمية الأصفر قلت بشكل كبير جدا لأنه مع الإدمان والتعاطي بيتم تدمير خلايا المخ وبعد 100 يوم من الامتناع عن أخذ العقار ده ابتدت الأصفر تزيد تاني على آخر اليمين ويبتدي المخ يرجع لوظائفه الطبيعية. Okay, so we settled now it's a disease. There is structural changes in the brain.
Correct.
Would you like to go see another perspective for the addiction, like the chief of police in Huntington Beach?
I think it's a great idea.
Okay, let's watch.
And on behalf of White Coast, I'd like to welcome the Chief of Police for Huntington Beach, Chief Robert Handy. And just a brief introduction of Chief Handy. He has been the police chief of Huntington Beach since 2013. And he comes via some experience in San Bernardino Police Department, as well as was a police officer with the city of Phoenix in Arizona. Am I correct, sir?
Yes.
Welcome
Yes.
very much to the show.
Chief Handy, I'd love to thank you in person. And a problem like addiction and drug abuse, from your perspective, what trends of drugs are seeing you the most today?
I think right now one of there's two drugs, illegal drugs that we see most common, and it's the heroin, which is an opiate-based drug, or methamphetamine. So those are the two that we see probably most common on the street today, in addition to marijuana, which now is legal in the smaller quantities. But those are the things we see most often.
Okay, certainly the country has been experiencing the opioid epidemic, and different communities are trying to address it from different perspectives. From your perspective and the police department's perspective, what steps have you taken or are you taking or will be taking?
I think that the current climate for the opioid crisis, as you say, is no different really than some of the other drug epidemics we've seen over the years. So we saw it with crack cocaine in the early 90s. We saw it with cocaine prior to that. We saw it with methamphetamines after that. So it's really kind of a cycle of availability, cost, things like that. So the current opioid epidemic, so to speak, is kind of born in the sense of the availability of it, but also it ties into some of the prescription drug addictions because it's in the same family. So we believe a lot of our addictions start there as well with prescription drugs and then turn into more of an illegal substance like heroin.
And Chief Handy, from your perspective, how a problem like drug abuse would affect a city like Huntington Beach, and different perspective regarding violence level, homelessness?
Really, it affects so many different areas of all of our societies, all of our cities. It's not just Huntington Beach. I think most of our communities across the country are struggling in one way or another with drugs. It affects us, though. It affects our level of productivity. It affects our kids in schools and our ability to educate our children. It affects our crime rates significantly. A lot of our property crimes are tied to people who are addicted to substance abuse, basically trying to support their habit. Right. So that's a big part of it as well, and we do see some violent crimes that are tied to it as well.
And actually, we're losing every day about 160 persons overdose and die. Is there any training your staff receive to help the opiate overdose or any kind of drug overdose?
Well, we do receive first aid training every year. Our police department earlier this year, we equipped all of our police vehicles with the automatic defibrillators, so they all have AED devices. A lot of times in an overdose situation, no matter what drug it is, it affects the heart. Right. And sometimes that is helpful for us. One of our officers actually saved a person who overdosed with an AED earlier this year. So that's an important piece of life-saving equipment, we think, that our officers use and are trained to use. So that's important, but they've also gone through a lot of first aid training, recognition training, and our fire department has a great response as well with full advanced life support that they offer when they respond to the scene.
So speaking of training, in 2011, there was a very highly publicized case in the city of Fullerton, and so they had a...
Actually, in our next episode, we'll get back to those interviews and I'll translate them for you for all our Arabic audience. هنرجع الحلقات الجاية هنعرض كل الانترفيوز اللي احنا عملناها مع رئيس البوليس الموجود في هانينغتون بيتش أو الحكيمة بتاعت هانينغتون بيتش. بس الحقيقة بينضم لي ضيف تاني دلوقتي، واحد من الناس الهاي رانكد فيزيشنز أو الأطباء اللي ليهم باع كبير جدا في مجال الإدمان. Dr. Keerthy Sunder, I have a pleasure and honor to have you today in my coat. And Dr. Keerthy Sunder is here today to talk about your brain nutrition, how to feed your brain, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
He has his own products and formula. He will talk to us today about those formulas in more details. So what do we have today?
Thank you, Dr. Tamer and Dr. Karmarkar. It was a very interesting introduction to addictions. And, you know, as an integrative physician and the Chief Medical Officer of the Mind and Body Treatment Institute here in Southern California, we focus a lot on brain optimization. And by that, what I mean is that the brain is naturally inclined to improve itself. But because of the lifestyle that we have, and as Dr. Karmarkar pointed out, you know, that you've got the trigger of the environment, you know, and so the environmental triggers are affecting our brain as well as our body in ways that we are not able to function at our peak level. Right. You know, as you will notice that even with, you know, all the intelligence we have, sometimes during the day we are feeling a bit foggy. You know, we have less energy, less clarity, and overall it could affect our joy. So we have created a bunch of products called Brain Tune, and we'd be delighted to speak about it.
So give me one product. I have a sweet tooth. So do you have a product for somebody like me that really needs something sweet to be very disciplined about taking on a daily basis?
Thank you. Well, first and foremost, I think you're a very sweet doctor. So,
God bless
you know, so now that we have, you know, this question, let me just say for the audience and for all of us, we've got brain honey. And the honey is unique in the sense, as you know, honey has medicinal properties. But this particular honey has got the benefits of turmeric, which has anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, right. Cinnamon, that actually controls your sugar levels. And in addition, it's got ginger that also helps with inflammation. So a combination of anti-cancer properties, anti-inflammation, and It's a beautiful, delicious honey.
I'll translate this very quick to our audience. Actually, أول منتج عن دكتور سايمون هو نوع جديد من العسل. هو حط التركيبة بتاعته في 4 مكونات. العسل الطبيعي الأبيض اللي معروف بكل فوائده لكل مشاهدينا. الحاجة الثانية إنه في زنجبيل اللي هو الجينجر، وده معروف إنه له فوائد كتيرة جدا كمضاد للالتهابات في كل الجسم وبيحسن الوظيفة العامة للمخ. الحاجة الثالثة اللي هي التيميريك أو الكركم، وده كل الأبحاث الجديدة أثبتت مدى فاعليته لوظائف المخ بشكل عام. الحاجة الرابعة اللي هي السينامون أو القرفة، والقرفة ليها فوائد كتير جدا، منها فوائد كتير للمخ، بلس إن هي بتساعد على إن أنت تعمل كنترول على معدلات السكر في الدم بتاعك. What other products other than the sweet honey that we have?
Thank you, Dr. Tamer and Dr. Simon. We have another product, which is a very powerful product, which is a brain shake. And I think it is our signature product because it is what we are trying to address. The brain getting its nutrition with plant-based nutrients that are healthy for you, non-GMO, organic, you know, no gluten, no soya, no milk. So, you know, hardly any allergenic properties there. So hypoallergenic. In addition, it has the benefits of a bunch of things from plants such as broccoli. There's an extract from that. Red palm oil. There is an extract from that. And it has all the minerals such as sodium, potassium, phosphorus, manganese, and so forth that help with the neurotransmitters in the brain.
And other than the shake, I think we have another product, right?
That is true. You know, Dr. Tamer, you are just so good with these.
Thank you.
We have a turmeric product, you know, and as you know, turmeric has been used in the Middle East and Asia for centuries for its beautiful properties. It is used in those beautiful rice preparations across the restaurants all over the world. But turmeric now has solid evidence for its properties with cancer protection, inflammation, decreasing joint, you know, pain, as well as protecting the heart. For us, we basically believe that it has brain protective properties. And so that's the other preparation. We've got a turmeric capsule, 100% turmeric.
الحقيقة عشان حضراتكم تبقوا عارفين ال3 منتجات هم العسل والكابسولز اللي بيعملها دكتور ساندر، هي معمولة من التيميريك أو الكركم، ودي زي ما أنا قلت إنه له فوائد كتيرة جدا على المخ. لو الفورمولا بتاع العسل حضراتكم عايزين تجربوا أي فورمولاز، الكابسولز بتبقى أسهل كتير كل يوم الصبح، فدي بتساعد على تنشيط وظائف المخ. هنناقش في حلقة كاملة بالتفصيل ازاي تقدر تغذي او تقدر تاخد النظام الصحي الغذائي مع بعض السبلمنت التانية زي دكتور ساندر التيميريك كابسولز. عنده كمان شيك، ده ممكن تشربوه يعني زي باودر بتحطوه مع المية، وده له فوائد كتيرة جدا هنناقشها في كل البروموز بتاعنا الفترة الجاية. And toward the end of our episode today, I would love to thank Dr. Keerthy Sunder and our mentor and co-host, Dr. Simon Karmarkar.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us today.
It was fantastic being here, Dr. Sunder. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
coming on the
Thank you,
show.
Dr. Sunder.
Thank you,
Dr.
absolutely.
Karmarkar, being with us today. And في الآخر النهارده حبينا بس ناخد مقدمة عن الإدمان مش أكتر من كده، ونبقى نكون مع أول حلقة مع حضراتكم بس مقدمة. عايزين في المقدمة دي إن احنا نرسخ مبادئ مهمة جدا للإدمان هنستفيد بيها في كل الحلقات بتاعتنا الجاية. المبدأ الأول رقم 1 إن احنا لازم نبتدي من بدري قوي مع أولادنا، وأكتر حاجة ممكن وأقيم حاجة ممكن نديها لأولادنا في سن البدري هو وقتنا. مهم جدا ان احنا نشتغل على اولادنا في سن بدري. الحاجة التانية المهمة جدا، اذا اي اسرة اكتشفت ان انا عندي ابن مدمن فده معناها ان انت عندك ابن مريض مش ابن فاسد اخلاقيا. ودي نقطة مهمة جدا 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 لازم حضراتكم تخلوا بالكم منها، ان احنا بنتعامل مع مرض مش مع مشكلة اخلاقية او مع نقص في الارادة. والمرض ده له مسببات ناقشناها الحلقة دي، ممكن تكون مسببات بيئية أو مسببات جينية جاية من الأب والأم اللي بيحاولوا يعاقبوا ابنهم وهو واخد الجينز دي منهم أساسا. النقطة الثالثة المهمة جدا إنه مراحل العلاج، ودي نقطة مهمة جدا هنناقشها في كل الحلقات اللي جاية، إنه مش لازم نفهم إنه السوشيال سبورت نتورك لأي مدمن أو النظام الاجتماعي المحيط بيه هو أهم حاجة في مراحل التعافي بتاعته. مهم جدا ان احنا ندعم اولادنا، بلاش ناخد الامور بطريقه عصبيه جدا او متشنجه، لازم نفهم ان انا بتعامل مع مريض. الحقيقه الحلقات الجايه هنتكلم على كل نوع ادمان بالتفصيل. الحلقه دي ما قدرناش نعرض مقابلتنا مع رئيس البوليس الموجود في هالينتون بيتش، هنعرضها كلها المره الجايه بالترجمه. هنعرض الترجمه بتاعت حلقتنا الانترفيو بتاعنا مع المير. الحلقه الجايه هيكون معانا دكتور من رواد الادمان الموجود في كاليفورنيا، دكتور ستيوارت فينكلستاين، هيكلمنا على كل الاوبيد ادكشن او النوع ده من الادمان اللي هو بيبقى لكل مسكنات الالم، لكل الكودايين، لكل الهيروين، لكل الترامادول، كل الانواع دي من الحبوب. ولو ان احنا هنعمل حلقه للترامادول لوحده. الراجل ده في مجال الادمان من سنه 80، واحد من رواد مجال الادمان هنا، هيكون معاكم الفتره الحلقه الجايه. طول الاسبوع ده عايزكم تبعتوا لي على كل الاوبيد ادكشن، اي حد يعرف حد عنده في اسرته على هيروين او حبوب مسكنات الالم او الكودايين بكل انواعه او الترامادول، هيبعت لنا طول اي اسئله عن الحاله دي، واحنا هنحاول نساعده قد ما نقدر. هنتكلم بالتفصيل عن الاوبيد ادكشن الحلقه الجايه. بشكر ضيوفي النهارده، بشكر حضراتكم. زي ما انا قلت، انتوا اللي هتحطوا الخطوط العريضه للبرنامج، فالتواصل بتاعكم معانا على الفيسبوك بيج او على الايميل بتاعنا whitecoat@karmatv.com هو اللي هيحط كل اولوياتنا الفتره الجايه. بشكر حضراتكم. انا تامر ميشيل من قناه الكرمة. بشكر لاستماعكم النهارده، وبنطلب صلواتكم وتفاعلكم معنا.